Hey family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what time it is, baby. Get your drink, pull up, let's talk about it. Today I'm just going to talk open and freely about preparing and adapting to things that are going on. You know, we've done several videos of how to prepare, top 15 preps, different things to get, different priorities of areas to concentrate on. You know, we've talked specifically in recent days of inflation and how to adapt to that and adapt to it continuing to go up, and how that's changing family dynamics and the ability to you know, survive and make it and provide for themselves and their family members. So I'm just going to talk kind of freely about how do you adapt. You know, a couple stories, you know, saw some news articles, been seeing it all over the news, you know, especially even here locally. Now locally, I'm talking about like local, like Seattle. Obviously we're far from Seattle, but we get that as local news, some of that local news, right? And folks just complaining really about SNAP benefits and EBT and the decreases in money and different ways that people were being helped and assisted because of COVID. And because that has been announced as being done, we're wrapping that up. Those federal monies, those monies are going away. And so those extra benefits of possibly hundreds of dollars for some families are going away. And it's heartbreaking, of course, if you are asking for assistance, you're wholeheartedly trying to make it, you're wholeheartedly working your butt off as a mother, father, or duo, and you guys still are suffering, and you're asking for the help, and then some of that help is taken back now. But the reality is it's going back to what was the normal, okay? It just went up, and I would try to think about the positive, and thank the Lord for the blessing of it going up for the amount of time that it did. And unfortunately it's going down. And so you know, possibly that's families trying to figure out how they wrap that around their bills and their groceries and what they're gonna do, right? How they're gonna offset that little bit of money that is being taken back. You know, had a close friend of mine as well, you know, was getting Social Security for some children of our age, and lost that money. And, you know, to be honest, it wasn't a whole lot of money, but it was a whole lot of money, right? When you get any kind of assistance, any kind of extra money, you know, I think of myself with affiliates. I may get a $200 check, right, for the month for an affiliate, right? And in my mind, I'm so thankful because that $200 can offset so many things, okay, and help build upon other things. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for any amount of money that I make, because any kind of money offsets a bill, helps with a situation, and I'm thankful for that. I feel blessed for that. And unfortunately, in this situation, that extra income, that extra Social Security for those children, it was in the budget, it was written into, hey, that's kind of where my food comes from. That's my food budget. I use that money specifically to buy food for the month. And now the problem is, okay, I got to redo the budget now because that money is all the way gone. Not only do you lose a good amount of money, a decent amount of money, it typically was what you were leaning on for your food bill, right? And so now it becomes, okay, that now needs to be wrapped back into the budget, and how do you make that work? And I say all this to say that it's going to take a drive and an enthusiasm of positivity to understand that you can make it through this. It's gonna be crazy for some, crazier for some than others, and you're just going to have to buckle down and figure it out. Sit down calmly, pour you a nice drink, redo the budget, refigure out how you can do things, and from there you assess, and you're gonna have to adapt and figure out, okay, how do I get more money? And for your situation, how do you get more money? Is there a side hustle? Is there something that you can do? Maybe it's the Uber driving thing, maybe it's babysitting kids, maybe it's, I mean, I've been looking for a chicken babysitter, pet sitter, like there's all types of little side hustles that you can do. Maybe you're creative and there's stuff that you can make. But what is that side hustle that possibly you can do, right? Maybe there's a skill set that you have that you're able to put on Marketplace and start doing for people. Maybe it's get your LLC and start a small business, right? It's something small that you make or you do that you want to give to people as a service. Or maybe it's getting a third job. I tell you what, we talk about this job market and the president brags about all the jobs. Baby, those jobs are not getting filled. They're getting filled by the folks that are struggling, and this is their second job. This is their third job. This is retirees coming out of retirement and getting a job, right? This is folks that were hurting because of COVID and because so many people quit. Yes, there's tons of jobs and those jobs are being filled, but they are being filled by people who already had a primary job, okay? And that's the problem. That's the problem with stats, because stats don't always show you the whole picture about what is going on, okay? But figure out the income, let me tell you, if I could not put food on the table, or I did the budget and I was highly concerned about, okay, I can pay everything, but I'm concerned that I don't have enough for food, or I don't have enough for something. I'm not quite sure I'm gonna be able to stretch this electric bill every month. Whatever it is, you better trust and believe that I'm doing whatever it is in my power and my world to do it, right? I'm starting a whole social media about how I'm a mama bear trying to make it, help me feed my children. I'm trying to put it out on social media, ask for help. I have no shame in my game as far as asking for help. But some people, that's more difficult, and you got to get out of that, because if you know for a fact that you have family and friends who would help you, church members, people that you know for a fact, if you just opened your mouth and said, I need help, that they would help you. There's other assistant type programs. If you just do a little bit of research for your area, for your city, for your county, even for your state, and see what's out there, not necessarily federal money, right? Take a look. I'd be in food banks. I'd be in lines getting my boxes of food. I would be doing whatever it took to try to get food and make it work. I would be, with the money that I did have allocated for groceries, I would be busting my butt to get the cheapest meals put together, the cheapest meats, the cheapest foods. I would be hitting the internet for those cheap, there's a ton of websites for cheap dinners, $5 dinner for 5 or 6, right? All types of different stuff. How to buy bulk items, bulk meat, whatever, for the week to make that will then feed the whole, be able to make meals for the whole week. Making casseroles, making soup, salads, things that will last longer than just say maybe one meal, that you can stretch maybe multiple meals, right? Bulk type eating, getting away from pre-made. It's way more expensive. Getting away from eating out, buying anything outside the home, outside of groceries, right? And groceries, buying the basics and not going over the top as far as your pre-made stuff, because that's where you're spending, that's where the money's coming from. And there's lots of videos. I've done some videos on inflation, how to deal with that, budgeting. That's not really my channel, right? It's not about that, but it is about hopefully motivating you enough that you have to, one, be able to adapt, because things are going to continue to happen. I had another friend got served, and for a medical bill, $300 medical bill. $300 medical bill, didn't know about it, got served papers for it, for the courts, right? On top of it, right from jump, already has like, $500, or $1,000, of the legal fees, right? And that stuff's just going to continue to go up. And the person mentioned that they had several friends that exact thing had happened to. So I'm telling you, like, the times are rough for everybody, and you want to be paying stuff down, pay down debt. Do not owe money to anybody, because they're coming for you. But you should be taking money out of the banks and not trusting and expecting, the banks to crash. I'm not saying take your whole life savings out, but I'm saying, baby, you better be taking a good chunk out and have you some nest egg that's not in the bank, okay? So that the day comes, the bank closes, and they say, hello, you're not getting this, $50,000, $60,000 that you have a life savings in your bank account. Boom, one day it's just not there. And so if you've taken some out, then it's not that big of a blow, right? You need to get something. Everybody and their mother's freaking about how they can't get money out of the ATM, but you've got a little bit of cash, and so you're able to handle business and do what it is that you need to do, okay? You have to be able to adapt and overcome, and you have to have a positivity. If you don't have that positivity and you're just rolling through life with the negative, and then when you take those hits, it's just added baggage, and you don't get out of it. And it gets that much, it's heavier and heavier, and it's that much heavier to, or harder to get out of, right? You've got to think, okay, hit things on head on. This is what's happening. How do I adjust? How do I redo things? Because I have to change, and you have to change quickly with it. As it changes, you need to change. Otherwise, it's going to get overwhelming, and you're going to get, you know, depressed and stressed and have anxiety. And now here goes your body, because your body starts to feel it, your mind starts to feel it. It's just another way that you have to stay spiritually strong, physically strong. It's very important to head on things, head on, right? You've got to be able to look at it and say, okay, I'm going to address this, and I'm not going to run from it. And I'm going to address the fact that, okay, I just lost $500 from my income for whatever reason. How do I either get that back, or how do I adjust? How do I fall back on different things so that I can adjust, and that $500 now is not that big of a deal? What can I make, and what changes can I make in my life to make it work? And this is important, because this isn't just a money thing. This is a survival thing. Like, if you can't adapt to the things that come our way as they come our way, it's just going to compound, and you're stressed. And then when the big thing happens, that the big event, the catastrophic, like, oh no, there's a good chance that there's so much heaviness on you that now you can't even get through the fog as figuring out and not panicking about what is happening and what to do and what's the steps to do, right? And then now you're making poor decisions, you're making the wrong decisions, you're wasting time, all of that, okay? So I don't know. I know this was a little bit of a ramble, but things are changing for people in the dynamic of money and survival. And if you do not look at this stuff head on and figure out how to do it, you're going to fall into the digital currency agendas that they are talking about. You're not going to have any options, baby. You're going to be in that line for this digital, to sign up and be like, you'll own nothing and be happy. Like, you'll happily do that because you did not look at the world head on. You didn't look at the problems head on. You didn't readjust. You didn't figure out a way to get around what was happening, and you waited too long, and now that's the easiest option. It's the only option, it's the only option that you're going to see at the time, because there's nothing else that you're able to do. Okay, so I hope you guys are having a good week. This week is going pretty fast for us. We're getting rain now, and it's supposed to have some more sun. Like, we've been having snow, but it's not been sticking. And then we've been having rain now, still in the 20s, 30s, fluctuating. I'm just ready for spring. So you guys be well, do everything in love, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.